A very good morning, students. Today we are going to study class 9th Moments book, chapter 10, The Beggar. This is written by Anton Chekhov. First of all, let us see the introduction of this chapter. The Beggar is the story of the transformation of a beggar into a good person. The behavior of a woman made him leave alcohol and lead a good life. Let us see the explanation of this chapter. Kind sir, have pity. Turn your attention to a poor, hungry man. For 3 days I have had nothing to eat. I haven't 5 kopecks for a lodging. I swear it before God. For 8 years I was a village school teacher and then I lost my place through intrigues. I fell a victim to calumny. It is a year now since I have had anything to do. Kopek means Russian coin equal to 1/100th of a ruble. Means beta this is a currency just like our rupee. Intrigues make secret plans to do something illicit or detrimental to someone. Means षड्यंत्र रचना एक तरीके से. Calumny means the making of false and defamatory statements about someone in order to damage his or her reputation. मतलब किसी की reputation को hurt करने के लिए, नुकसान पहुंचाने के लिए जो षड्यंत्र किया जाता है या false statement उसके ऊपर लगाए जाते हैं, that is called calumny. A man was begging alms. Alms means भीख. एक आदमी भीख मांग रहा था. He said that he had not eaten anything for the last 3 days. He did not even have 5 kopecks to pay for a room to spend the night at. Thus he swore by God that he spoke the truth. He had been a school teacher in a village for 8 years but lost that job due to the conspiracy of his colleagues. For the last 1 year he was without work. The advocate Sergei looked at the ragged, fawn-colored overcoat of the suppliant, at his dull, drunken eyes, at the red spot on either cheek, and it seemed to him as if he had seen this man somewhere before. I have now had an offer of a position in the province of Kaluga, the mendicant went on, but I haven't the money to get there. Help me kindly. I am ashamed to ask, but I am obliged to by circumstances. Suppliant means a person making a humble plea to someone in power or authority. Mendicant means beggar, obliged to, compelled, forced. An advocate named Sergei looked at the light brown colored coat of the beggar. The beggar had dull, drunken eyes. They means he was drunken at that time. Also, there were red spots on both his cheeks. Sergei felt that he had seen the man before. The beggar continued that he had got an offer of a job in the state of Kaluga in Russia. He did not have enough money to travel to the place. He wanted to help, though he felt ashamed asking for it, but his circumstances forced him to do so. Sergei's eyes fell on the man's overshoes, one of which was high and other low, and he suddenly remembered something. Look here, it seemed to me I met you the day before yesterday in Sadovya Street, he said. But you told me then that you were a student who had been expelled and not a village school teacher. Do you remember? No, that can't be so, mumbled the beggar, taken aback. I am a village school teacher, and if you like, I can show you my papers. Mumbled means barbarana, to speak in inaudible voice. Taken aback means surprised. Let us see explanation. Sergei saw the man's shoes. Both of them had varying heel sizes, mean different heel sizes. He remembered something. He said that the day before the previous day, he had seen the same beggar at Sadovya Street. Then the beggar had said that he was a student who had been removed from the institution and noted that he was a school teacher. He asked the beggar if he remembered it. The beggar was shocked and spoke softly that was not possible. He rejected. He said that he was a school teacher and could show his documents as a proof. Have done with lying. You call yourself a student and even told me what you had been expelled for. Don't you remember? Sergei flushed and turned from the wrecked creature with an expression of disgust. This is dishonesty, my dear sir, he cried angrily. This is swindling. I shall send the police for you, damn you. Disgust means a feeling of revulsion or strong disapproval aroused by something unpleasant or offensive. Swindling means cheating a person of money. Sergei said that he had lied enough. He added that the beggar had told him that he was a student and had even told the reason for getting expelled from his institution. Sergei was full of anger and turned away from the beggar with disgust. He screamed that the beggar was dishonest. He was a cheat and Sergei would hand him over to the police. Sir, he said, laying his hand on his heart. The fact is, I was lying. I am neither a student nor a school teacher. All that was fiction. Formerly, I sang in a Russian choir and was sent away for drunkenness. But what else can I do? I can't get along without lying. No one will give me anything when I tell the truth. What can I do? What can you do? You ask, what can you do? Cried Sergei, coming close to him. Work. That is what you can do. You must work. Fiction means falsehood. The beggar confessed that he was lying. He was neither a teacher nor a student. He had been a singer in a Russian group and was removed due to his drinking problem. He lied because people would not give him alms if he told them the truth. Work. Yes, I know that myself. But where can I find work? I wouldn't refuse to do that. To But these days, even skilled woodcutters find themselves sitting without bread. Will you come and chop wood for me? Yes, sir, I will. Very well, we will soon find out. Sergei hastened along, rubbing his hands. He called his cook out of the kitchen. The beggar said that he knew he should work, but there was no work for him. Sergei asked if he would chop wood for him. The beggar wanted to chop wood but said that even skilled woodcutters were out of work, so who would employ him for it? Sergei offered him work. The beggar replied that he would chop wood for him. Sergei hastened means walk hurriedly. Sergei said that his willingness to work would be judged soon. He walked off, rubbing his hands, and called the cook from the kitchen. Here, Olga, he said, take this gentleman into the woodshed and let him chop wood. The scarecrow of a beggar shrugged his shoulders as if in perplexity and went irresolutely after the cook. It was obvious from his gait that he had not consented to go and chop wood because he was hungry and wanted work, but simply from pride and shame and because he had been trapped by his own words. It was obvious too that his strength had been undermined by vodka and that he was unhealthy and did not feel the slightest inclination for toil. Perplexity means state of being puzzled, bewilderment means confusion. Irresolutely means hesitatingly, decidedly. Inclination means interest, get means walk, toil means hard work. He asked Olga to take the man to the woodshed and let him chop wood. The beggar resembled a scarecrow. Scarecrow, beta, just like खेतों में टांग देते हैं पुतला, उसे बोलते हैं स्केयर क्रो। वो मतलब वो बहुत ही थिन था, पतला दुबला था, डेट्स वाई इट इज कॉल्ड scarecrow. His reluctance to go to the shed was signified by his act of shrugging his shoulders. He followed the cook hesitatingly. He was hesitant because he was hungry, and although he wanted to work, he did not feel energetic enough to do it. As he had promised Sergei he had to go to work, he did not feel strong enough because he was under the influence of the alcohol and was not fit to do laborious work. Sergei hurried into the dining room. From its window, one could see the woodshed and everything that went on in the yard. Standing at the window, Sergei saw the cook and the beggar come out into the yard by the back door and make their way across the dirty snow to the shed. Olga glared wrathfully at her companion, shoved him aside with her elbow, unlocked the shed, and angrily banged the door. Wrath- Wrathfully means with hatred. Shoved him aside means pushed him. Sergei went to the dining room to look outside the window. He could see the woodshed and the yard. He saw the cook and the beggar in the yard. They walked the shed. The cook, Olga, stared at the beggar angrily, pushed him with her elbow, and shut the door. Next, he saw the pseudo teacher seat himself on a log and become lost in thought, with his red cheeks resting on his fist. The woman flung down an axe at feet, spat angrily, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. The beggar irresolutely pulled a billet of wood towards him, set it up between his feet, and tapped it feebly with the axe. The billet wavered and fell down. The beggar again pulled it to him, blew his freezing hands, and tapped it with his axe cautiously, as if afraid of hitting his overshoe or of cutting off his finger. The stick of wood again fell to the ground. Billet means here a thick piece of wood. Feebly means weakly, kamjori se. Then he saw the beggar, who had lied that he had been a teacher, sitting on a log of wood. He sat with his cheeks resting on his fist. Olga threw his axe towards him and scolded him. The beggar pulled the piece of wood towards him, placed it between his feet, and hit it weakly with the axe. The wood shook and fell. He pulled it up again, tried to warm up his hands by blowing into him, and again tapped the wood with the axe. He was careful not to hit his shoes or cut his finger. The wood fell again once. Sergei's anger had vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having set a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick person to work at manual labor in the cold. An hour later, Olga came in and announced that the wood had all been chopped. Good. Give him half a ruble, said Sergei. If he wants to be too, he can come back and cut wood on the first day of each month. We can always find work for him. Manual labor means an unskilled, inferior job. Sergei was not angry at the beggar now. He felt sorry and ashamed for himself to put the poor man at hard work in such cold weather, despite the fact that he was not fit enough to do it. After an hour, Olga went to Sergei and told him that all the pieces of wood had been chopped. Sergei was glad that the beggar had done the work. He asked Olga to pay him half a ruble. He added that he could tell him to come on the first day of every month to cut wood. They could give him some work. On the first day of the month, the waif made his appearance and again earned half a ruble, although he could barely stand on his legs. From that day on, He often appeared in the yard and every time work was found for him. Now he would shovel slow, now put the woodshed in order, now beat the dust out of rug and mattresses. Every time he received from 20 to 40 kopecks, and once even a pair of old trousers were sent out to him. Web means a homeless person. Shovel means to remove snow with a shovel. This is a tool resembling a spade with a broad blade and typically unturned side. The beggar turned up on the first of the month and got half a ruble, although he was heavily drunk and could not even stand on his feet. He went there for work. Often he would do various jobs like shoveling the snow, set the wood in the shade, beat the rugs to remove the dust, and he earned 20 to 40 kopecks for it. Once Sergei gave him a pair of trousers too. When Sergei moved into another house, he hired him to help in the packing and hauling of the furniture. This time the wife was sober, gloomy, and silent. He hardly touched the furniture and walked behind the wagons, hanging his head, not even making a pretense of appearing busy. He only shivered in the cold and became embarrassed when the carters jeered at him for his idleness, his feebleness, and his tattered fancy overcoat. After the moving was over, Sergei sent for him. Hauling means transporting. Pretense means to show something which actually does not exist. Jeered at him means make fun of him. Sergei shifted to another house and hired the beggar to help in moving the articles like furniture. Now the man was not under the influence of alcohol. He was sad and remained quiet. He hardly took part in moving the furniture. He simply walked behind the vans with his head hanging low and did not even pretend to be busy. He shivered due to the cold weather and seemed embarrassed when other workers made fun of him for being idle, weak, and laughed at his torn overcoat. When the work was completed, Sergei called the beggar. Well, I am happy that my words have if taken effect, he said, handing him a ruble. Here is for your pains. I see you are sober and have no objection to work. What is your name? Leshkov. Well, Leshkov, I can now offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? I can. Work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have said to you. Goodbye. Sergei said that he was happy to see that change in the beggar due to his scoldings. He gave him a ruble for his labor and asked him his name as he had left drinking and was willing to work too. The beggar replied that his name was Laskov. Sergei wanted to offer him some better work and asked if he could write. Lashkov replied that yes, he could write too. Sergei handed him a letter to be delivered. A friend to his Sergei's friend would give copying work to Lashkov. He instructed him to work hard and they parted. Pleased at having put a man on the right path, Sergei tapped Lashkov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him his hand at parting. Lashkov took the letter and from that day forth came no more to the yard for work. 2 years went by. Then one evening, as Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theatre, paying for his seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and a swan sealskin cap. The little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for a seat in the gallery and paid for it in copper coins. Timidly means in a shy or nervous way. Sergei was happy that he had reformed a man. He tapped Leshkov on his shoulder and shook hands with him. Leshkov went away with the letter and never returned. After 2 years, one evening, Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theater. He was buying a ticket. He saw Leshkov standing next to him. He was well dressed, wore a coat, the collar was made of fur, and wore a cap made of seal skin. He was shy as he asked for a ticket for the gallery seat and paid for it in coins made of copper. Leshkov, is that you? Cried Sergey, recognizing in the little man his former woodchopper. How are you? What are you doing? How is everything with you? All right, I am notary now and am paid 35 rubles a month. Thank heaven, that is fine. I am delighted for your sake. I am very, very glad, Lashkov. You see, you are my godson. In a sense, I gave you a push along the right path, you know. Do you remember what a roasting I gave you? I nearly had you sinking into the ground at my feet that day. Thank you, old man, for not forgetting my word. Godson means a boy or man whom one promises to bring up. Roasting here means scalding. Notary means a person authorized to perform certain legal formalities, especially to draw up or certify contracts, deeds, or other documents for use in other jurisdiction. Sergei recognized Leskov and met him. He asked how he was, what he was doing, and how everything was going. Leskov replied that he was fine and was working as a notary. He got paid 35 rubles a month. Sergei was glad and thanked God for reforming the beggar. He said that he considered Lashkov to be his grandson because it was due to his scolding that he was a changed man, that the beggar had been at his feet asking for mercy. He was glad that Lashkov did not forget his words. Thank you too, said Lashkov. If I hadn't come to you, then I might still have been calling myself a teacher or a student to this day. Yes, by flying to your protection, I dragged myself out of a pit. I am very glad indeed. Thank you for your kind words and deeds. I am very grateful to you and to your cook. God bless that good and noble woman. You spoke finally then, and I shall be indebted to you to my dying day. But strictly speaking, it was your cook Olga who saved me. Leshkov thanked him and said that if he had not made surgery that day, he would not still be lying. He would still be lying and begging. He came out of the pit with the help of Sergei and was glad for his help. He thanked Sergei for his kindness. He was grateful to the cook. She was a noble woman. Although Sergei had been kind of him, it was Olga who saved him and reformed him. How is that? When I used to come to your house to chop wood, he used to begin, Oh, you sot, you, oh, you miserable creature, there is nothing for you but ruin. And then she would sit down opposite me and grow sad, look into my face and weep. Oh, you unlucky man, there is no pleasure for you in this world, and there will be none in the world to come. You drunkard, you will burn in hell. Oh, you unhappy one. And so she would carry on, in that strain. I can't tell you how much misery she suffered, how many tears she shed for my sake. But the chief thing was that she used to chop the wood for me. Do you know, sir, that I did not chop one single stick of wood for you? He asked Sergei how he felt about the truth. Leshkov continued that when he would visit the place to chop wood, Olga would scold him. He would feel sad for him and wept. He felt very sad for him and would chop all the wood for him. Her behavior changed him. Just then the bell rang. He didn't chop the single wood. All the wood that would cut, only Olga would cut. She did it all. Why this saved me? Why I changed, why I stopped drinking at the sight of her, I cannot explain. I only know that owing to her words and noble deeds, a change took place in my heart. She set me right and I shall never forget it. However, it is time to go now. There goes the bell. Leshkov bowed and departed to the gallery. Her behavior changed him. Just then the bell rang. Leshkov bowed to Sergei and left for the gallery of the theater. So students, this is all. I hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching the video.